fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God!
Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
It's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive!
This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Welcome one, welcome all to SimSpeed TV. You're watching the Pro Truck Showdown, the final round of the Summer Series at a very special venue. This is the road course at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Looking forward to one more Roval round of this series to kick things off. My name is Reese Gardner. Cameron Dance is in the commentary box with me. And the reason why this track is hosted at this round is because it's my birthday and I got the track choice. So this is what I've decided the drivers will have to tackle tonight, down into second gear into turn one and then bring it out wide into turn two, just correcting the steering, holding the throttle through there, get on the throttle nicely down this straight, heading back into the infield of Atlanta Motor Speedway and then down into a double apex right-hander down to second gear. This is going to be quite the passing opportunity as the truck swings out wide. Then you've got a little bit of a jump down this back straight. The truck goes light over the crest, and then you've got a challenging chicane here. Got to brake very hard, swing it out across the curbs, down into first gear for this hairpin. I did run a little bit wide on this hot lap, but that's not going to be much of a muchness. You bring it in for the left-hander, and the acceleration is incredibly important out of this one because it's flat out all the way to the start-finish line from here, through the oval of Atlanta Motor Speedway, through the banked turns. There's going to be quite a few opportunities here for slipstream battles. Cameron, final round of the Summer Series. We've seen some fantastic racing throughout on tracks from all over the world, but here it is, the final round at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's going to be one that's going to be quite fascinating to see. It's very much a takeover Roval, as they call it, and yeah, certainly that run to the finish line is going to cause all sorts of havoc, that's for sure, with the fact that you've got turn one literally just as you get to the finish line, and then the fact that you've also got that massive run from pretty much the exit of the infield all the way across through NASCAR 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, exactly. And surprise, surprise, Atlanta Motor Speedway is located near Atlanta in Georgia in the United States. Very historic area for racing. And this place has been around for quite some time. Used to be a regular oval, but it was turned into a D-shaped oval, I think in the 80s or the 90s. But as you can see, the track has been around since 1960. I am going to apologize in advance for a couple of flubs that I might make. Of course, it is my birthday today, so I have downed a couple of glasses of wine on my way to the commentary box here tonight. But they're in qualifying at the moment, only 5 minutes and 1 lap, and it looks like the session is about over. Brenton Hobson has managed to put it on pole position by 2/10. A great run there from Hobbo to start off the night, and it is a Synergy Sim Racing 1-2 for the first race of the night. It's going to be a 7-lapper. The field is headed up by Brenton Hobson and Glenn Postlethwaite. Mitchell McLeod, who won the last full season of the Pro Truck Showdown, is going to start in third, with Kay Donnelly sharing the second row with him. Justin Howe and Sam Stride on row 3. Brady Baldwin and Gregory Favell 7th and 8th. And it's Ashley Lear and Philip Howe rounding out the top 10 tonight.
Page 2, Aaron Dillon and Daniel Stevens on row 6. Row 7 is going to be Ryan Jones, Dwayne Priest, Todd Maxfield and Chris Finlay on the following round. Row 8, row 9, Simon Mazzomo and Lindsay Hobbs with Aaron Russell. Former Supercars driver also joining the party in 19th and rounding out the top 20 will be Gary Wellman.
in 21st. Damien Westbrook, Joel Berkeley joins him on the 11th row, and Lockie Dalton is the final car on the grid tonight. Moving on forward into the race session, it's a standing start on the front of this oval, waiting for the revs to rise. And here we go. Final round of the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway is go, and it looks like a pretty good start there from Brenton Hobson. He leads the way into turn one, a very short run to turn one here, but side by side, Postlethwaite and McLeod. Mitchell really pushing Posse, and oh my goodness, has actually knocked him into the field behind. Kate Donnelly made further contact, and now Postlethwaite's going to have to protect the inside there from Justin Howe. Sam Stride trying to get one up on Brady Baldwin as there's a bit of a crash happening in the back. Ashley Lear almost got turned around. Tom Maxfield almost turned around, and up and over is Lindsay Hobbs. That's a very undignified way for that first lap to go.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly ideal for that first lap for Lindsay Hobbs, unfortunately. 3 wide on the way into the chicane as well. That is very, very wide and very, very ambitious, but they'll sort themselves out through that back in the field. But it's certainly been a little bit of a chaotic start as everybody's been trying to sort themselves out through this tight end field, and someone in the background, that's Joel Berkeley, copying a whack from behind and now dropping to the back of the field.
That's a shame there for Berkeley, but manages to sort it out. Glenn Postlethwaite in 4th place, side by side. This is quite interesting racing happening here. Kate Donnelly really pushing as they come into the final turns of the oval. This is where the slipstream's really going to get in, and Donnelly making a bit of contact there with Postlethwaite on the rear. Forward to seeing if there's going to be a move into the first turn. Doesn't look like there's going to be lifts off early, and Postlethwaite almost getting into the back of Mitchell McLeod there into the first turn. A bit of oversteer. He's having a bit of trouble keeping the momentum up. Donnelly has to fall back into Justin Howe, and there's the concertina. Almost all of them getting turned around there, but there is Brady Baldwin seeing the opportunity, shoves Justin Howe and Sam Stride off the track. But have a look at the number 15 of Gregory Favell. He took advantage of all of that. No, he hasn't. He's been turned around by Brady Baldwin on the exit of that right-hander. Oh, he tasted glory for a fleeting moment there.
Certainly did. He took advantage of all that went on, and it's still going on between the likes of Sam Stride as Daniel Stevens making his way through the field. He manages to get on by just now, nearly up the inside of Sam Stride as well, and then just behind just now it's got Ryan Jones for company as well, who's looking around the outside. Philip Howard joins the party as well. It's an absolutely chaotic pack going on here.
Joel Berkeley on the InSim text chat not happy about that incident we saw on the first lap. Car right, good room, not put me in the grass. Long, he says. Joel Berkeley obviously unhappy with how things have gone so far. Here is Mitchell McLeod then for the lead. Getting into the draft of Brenton Hobson is pulling out there is the P2 man, and they're all side by side now. Glenn Postlethwaite is stuck with these guys, all 3 of them across the line, covered by just about nothing. McLeod has to yield there, and that is the Synergy Sim Racing 1-2 secured again, but side by side through turn 2, they're not going to have a good time there, slowing each other up. McLeod is going to have the advantage there. Oh, take it easy, boys. On the inside, Posy and Hobbo as the moves are put on once again in the midfield. That's Daniel Stevens making his way through on Justin and Philip Howe. The father and son duo make contact, and Ryan Jones right in the midst of all of this now.
Going to get up the inside of Philip Howe, looks to the inside of Justin now, but there's no gap there. He's going to look to the outside. They're going to be 3.
Oh, no!
Against Justin.
Yeah, well, a bit of side-by-side contact in the braking zone. These trucks have a very high centre of gravity, so they can get sent around quite easily. So, oh, there we go. Philip Howe's just been turned around and over by Aaron Dillon in the left-hand hairpin. He is now on his roof. Poor Philip Howe. Seems to be something that happens. Whoa, hang on a minute. Was that Damien Westbrook who pummeled the wall there just then? We'll get a quick Racecraft Simulations replay and dissect that incident.
Certainly get a replay of what's gone on there, and you can see Philip Howe having to try go around the outside of Ryan Jones, who has to leave the position to him. Then Dylan just going a little bit too deep, unfortunately, just clipping the rear corner, and unfortunately Philip Howard ending up on his lid and not quite able to recover that. So he's going to have to take a tow back to pit lane.
And there's drama between the teammates in turn one. Hobson and Postlethwaite briefly came together. They're still fighting for the podium positions there with Mitchell McLeod, but Brenton Hobson on the inside into turn one just forced Posy wide, and up the inside of McLeod goes Postlethwaite, and he is going to secure that through the double right-hander, but that has given Brenton Hobson quite the advantage on the infield. It might be a race to nothing though on the oval. The draft very important here. McLeod still pressuring Postlethwaite as we ride on board with Mitch into this twisty section of the infield. There's a good opportunity here to send one up the inside into this left-hand hairpin, but McLeod not taking it for the time being, waiting for the oval to try and stake his claim. He's got to be wary though, because Kay Donnelly is right behind him, and they've got a battling pair of Brady Baldwin and Ashley Lee is behind them as well, side by side, those two coming onto the oval as, oh my goodness, that is Lockie Dalton up on his roof, and it looked like that was a coming together in the midfield.
It looked like that was the case. Unfortunately, we'll get a replay of what's happened there. It looked like there was a little bit of contact going on with himself and Christopher Finlay on the way on the exit of the oval, and then you had the big dive bomb from Gary Wellman, similar to what happened with Dylan and Philip Howell earlier, actually.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's what happened there to Lockie Dalton as we go back to live pictures. And it's quite the battle now. It's a top four fight. Postlethwaite leads. Brenton Hobson now defending from McLeod. Brady Baldwin has managed to get past Ashley Lear, defending from him, coming into the infielders. Big side-by-side action. Kay Donnelly having to pull out there versus Mitch McLeod. Postlethwaite into the grass. Giving the advantage to McLeod coming into the SS section, but Posse going defensive, leaves McLeod just enough room there on the inside, and the number 40 sweeps on through. That'll be an off-track 1X for all of those guys. It's very easy to run wide into the grass. Slight bit of contact between second and third, allowing Brenton Hobson to keep going, and there's Kay Donnelly up the inside of Glenn Postlethwaite, and oh no, careful guys, just going a bit too far up the track, a little bit too early, and that has destroyed the battle for the top four there. It now means Brenton Hobson and Mitchell McLeod are alone on track. This is going to be quite the battle here between Postlethwaite and Owen.
And you've got Ashley Lear and Brady Baldwin and Sam Strike not too far behind, and probably carrying ever so slightly more momentum as well, with the fact that they didn't have such a bad run onto the oval. So I'd say they're probably going to catch those two very, very quickly with the rate that they're going. I mean, Postlethwaite's doing only 210, and then you've got Baldwin in that doing 214. So a little bit of extra top end speed there on the way into turn one is going to help them. Now they're right on the back of it. So battle for fourth place is going truly on, as well as third place, but it's on for the lead as well between Hobson and McLeod, who are not leaving each other alone at all.
No, they're not. Postlethwaite didn't leave the wall alone on the exit of turn two there, opening himself up to an attack from Donnelly, and this is going to bring Brady Baldwin, Sam Stride and Ashley Lear right into it. As we take a look at Aaron Russell and Joel Berkeley coming together now for 13th and 14th. Russell just sticking the nose in there, and Berkeley saw him coming, maintains momentum around the outside, but that's going to help out Damian Westbrook somewhat now, right on the back of this battle, as Aaron Russell moves on ahead. So, battle for third, it seems. Glenn Postlethwaite with Kay Donnelly right behind him, and the enemies at the gate.
So anybody's guess as to who's going to actually end up winning these little battles here, because of the fact that there's that massive run on the way towards the start-finish line with these NASCAR corners, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, as Mitch McLeod is going to go to the inside of Brenton Hobson, just up ahead of this little battle pack. He's going to take the lead off Hobson as well, and Hobson decides to just let him on by, no point fighting him at all, so just going to sit in behind. But we'll see what the run light is like on the way to the start-finish line. Is going to pull it now, just time instead of trying to test the draft. It looks like it might just be strong enough to try that move again on the final lap, so we'll have to wait and see what he does.
Yes, it is indeed the final lap right now, so I think that was a tactical let by from Brenton Hobson. He'll have the draft on McLeod down the oval section on this final lap as, Joel Berkeley and Aaron Russell still together and fighting incredibly hard in turns 1 and 2. A little bit of trading spots there between the two of them. What can Aaron Russell do? Pulls out on Joel Berkeley, trying to widen the entry into these turns. Might sneak one up the inside here. A little bit of contact, but all is fair in love and war between those two. The battle is going to continue, but Hobson, right on the back of McLeod, he is going to start a launch here for victory. McLeod has to nail the exit of this hairpin, and it looks like he has. So let's see if the draft for Brenton Hobson is powerful enough to get this win and maybe tow Glenn Postlethwaite along with him. Hobbo running a little bit wide there down the NASCAR 1 and 2. But here comes the draft. Postlethwaite pulls out and moves his teammate on the outside. He's going to try and go for this. The teammates nearly coming together. The checkered flag is going to fly as they come across the line, and there's going to be absolutely nothing between them. 3 wide across the line. Let's go, boys. Mitchell McLeod protects from Postlethwaite and Hobson, but 3 wide across the line. Who's it going to be? It was Mitchell McLeod by 0.012 of a second, and Brenton Hobson was only 7 thousandths further behind. What a finish!
An incredible finish between Maxfield and Dillon as well. Absolutely nothing in it between those two. And that 4-car train with the likes of Joel Berkeley, Gary Wellman, and all them also having a bit of a drag race to the line. So everybody with very, very close finishes.
Yeah, Gary Wellman just got Berkeley and Russell there on the final lap. Those are the results, and have a look at that gap for the top 3. That is insane. Donnelly and Stride round out the top 5, with Baldwin finishing 6th. That's a good result for him from starting 7th. Ashley Lear makes it 7th from 9th. Ryan Jones advancing all the way from 13th position to 8th at the end of it. Daniel Stevens gets a top 10 finish for his troubles, and Dwayne Preece rounding out the top 10.
Have Aaron Dillon just outside the top 10, followed by Todd Maxwell, Gary Wellman, Aaron Russell, and Joel Berkeley to round out the top 15. Damien Westbrook, Gregory Favell, Lindsay Hobbs, Christopher Finlay, and Simon Mazzoma round out the top 20.
And the field rounded out there by our retirees. Looks like Philip Howe finishing a lap down, but Lockie Dalton and Justin Howe could not make it to the finish. Oh my goodness, that is big. Mitchell McLeod has been given a penalty by iRacing there. He's been shuffled all the way back to 20th position. A lap down. My goodness, that is crazy there for Mitch McLeod. And he's going to have to start from 20th place for this second race of the night, which is headed up by Postlethwaite and Hobson again. Donnelly and Stride 3rd and 4th, with Baldwin and Lear on the 3rd row. Ryan Jones and Daniel Stevens 7th and 8th, with Dwayne Preece and Aaron Dillon rounding out the top 10.
Have Maxfield, Wellman, Russell, Berkeley, Westbrook, Favell, Hobbs, Finlay, Mazzoma, and McLeod rounding out the top 20, and then rounding out the field will be Philip Howe, Lockie Dalton, and Justin Howe. Right,
23 trucks once again lining up here. Poor Mitch McLeod. He was staring down a win there, but I think that contact that sent Postlethwaite off the road on the run to the line was what put him back there. Either way, lights up, revs up, and away we go for the second race. It's going to be 9 laps, this one, and a good start from Sam Stride there. Protects the inside immediately from Brady Baldwin, but oh no, that hasn't worked out for him at all. Baldwin just shoved his way through, and Sam Stride has been put all the way out on the other side of the infield. What a whole way for this race to get started, as now on the inside goes Brenton Hobson on Cade Donnelly. A bit of contact there. Donnelly shuffled out wide. Brady Baldwin is going full send mode at the moment, off the track. And Ryan Jones now just behind him. This could be a move here for 4th.
He could be, but we'll have to wait and see what's going to come of it. Is he going to be able to get it done? No, he's not in the end. So Jones is going to have to sit behind Baldwin for a little bit longer just to be a little bit more patient. Wait till the opportunity arises when they get onto the oval. But very, very good start so far from pretty much everyone. It's been pretty clean. Oh, but I've just cursed it. Good contact just behind in that further back end of the field, and McLeod's managing to make his way through it all, only just.
Yeah, McLeod now up to 15th and looking at 14th, but Aaron Russell giving him some quarter contact there, and they are teammates at Torquay, remember. They've got to be careful here. Philip Howe protecting the inside. Russell moves up on McLeod, a bit more contact there, and also getting it on. This is Lindsay Hobbs getting down below the line and shuffles Aaron Russell wide, and Russell loses all of that momentum. Justin Howe is going to try and get him around the outside in the final couple of turns before the start finish line. McLeod now on the inside into turn 1 of Lindsay Hobbs. Can he sneak it up there? Oh, well, Lindsay Hobbs gets a big whack up the rear from Justin Howe, and they all managed to keep it on track, but what has happened there to Joel Berkeley? That's very slow there from Mr. Berkeley. Now back at the rear of the field as there's a big pile up there, and that is Lockie Dalton, Justin Howe, Lindsay Hobbs, all involved in that one. Trucks bouncing everywhere.
It was just a little bit of side-by-side contact. The fact that there was a guardrail of 2 walls either side and nowhere to go. Everybody sort of just ploughed into that one. Unfortunately, kind of was all started by the fact that Berkeley checked up with Westbrook, I believe, on the way into turn 1 was running a bit wide. So unfortunately, that's all sort of come together. And Baldwin getting up the inside of Kate Donnelly, trying to make it work, just barely making it work, and into the wall, both of them, and more contact with Jones as well.
Yeah, the transition from the apron to the banking of the oval is what did that. They just weren't lined up correctly, went straight into the wall. So that means Brady Baldwin is now up to 3rd, but Ryan Jones is now looking at a podium position. Brady Baldwin apparently has a message on his bonnet for me. We'll see what that says. Happy B-Day, Reese. Thanks, Brady. Really appreciate it. Unfortunately, you've just lost 3rd place to Ryan Jones there, but can you keep it into the first turn? Look out for Dwayne Priest here, sneaking up the inside, making it 3 wide across the line and trying up the inside of Jones. They make contact, both of them. Baldwin off the circuit, just manages to keep it out of the tyres. Woohoo! I love racing here.
Was extremely close to ending up with the tyre bundle there on the way into turn 1. Missed it by hardly anything, but it's been very, very close racing up at this pointy end of the field. And now we'll see if Ryan Jones can hold off the pressure from behind as he's got a long train of cars all the way back to Kate on the V8. So anybody's guess as to what's going to happen here in these next few laps between this large group of cars.
Yeah, we ride on board briefly with Aaron Dillon, looking back at Daniel Stevens, and this is Stevens making the move there on Aaron Dillon and getting up the inside, consolidating that position. Our top 2, Postlethwaite and Hobson, they're keeping each other very good company. I think playing the team game, you just see them in the distance there as Brenton Hobson goes for the inside now, and Glenn Postlethwaite, he's gotten the draft on his Synergy Sim Racing teammate and now into the lead. Coming into NASCAR 3 and 4, Ryan Jones has to be careful. Dwayne Priest is right on the back of him as well. There is the battle, and Priest, it seems, giving Ryan Jones a bit of a push there. Bump drafting happening on the oval here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but it's not helping them all that much. Brady Baldwin is still right in it, and oh, that was quite the aggressive corner entry there from Aaron Dillon. He's completely overshot the first turn.
Yes, he's going to end up slowing in just behind Daniel Westbrook. So he's lost a number of places out of that mistake there, and he's not really going to be too happy with himself as a result, because he's pretty much lost the whole entire front bunch, really. So he's got a lot of work to do to catch back up. But Ryan Jones currently having to muscle his way around Brady Baldwin at the moment. Sends it up the inside all the way into turn number 3. So Brady's going to stick his nose back in there on the way to turn 4, but Ryan Jones is going to go around the outside, or is he? He's going to end up off the road on the grass, and a little bit of contact ever so slightly. Jones going to still hold around the outside. Daniel Stevens going to get involved in this as well. Brady's just the slotted line. Contact between himself and Stevens.
There we go. Baldwin still manages to keep going though, but Stevens is now ahead coming onto the oval. Baldwin might put a move on him down at turn 1 if he's got his wits about him. But everyone playing the draft game for the time being here on lap 4. Baldwin just trying to eke out a bit of side draft here versus Daniel Stevens down on the inside. He's got the better line coming into the oval 3 and 4, so Stevens has to slot back in behind there. See how much momentum he carries out of that turn. Synergy teammates still bump drafting each other up the front as across the line Stevens and Baldwin go. Baldwin protecting the inside into turn 1. McLeod setting fastest lap after fastest lap. He's currently up to 8th place now. Mitchell McLeod on one hell of a charge.
He's actually starting to catch this little pack ahead of him. He's probably going to get on by them in very, very short time. He's not got much longer left in this race to do it. It's about 4 laps, which is going to take quite a lot of time, but nevertheless, we'll see what he can do and whether he's going to be able to get up to those top 3 is a little bit questionable, but he's going to at least get past another truck in the form of Cade Donnelly, so another position gained there, not too far off the back of Daniel Stevens and Brady Baldwin.
Yeah, we just saw Brady Baldwin going very wide off the circuit through that chicane section. McLeod now up to 7th and fighting with Cade Donnelly round the outside of the left-hand hairpin. McLeod is generally quite good at the throttle application in these things. They require a bit of finesse to get the traction that they need. These things, of course, running off-road racing tyres, so they don't quite put all of their grip down in any case. But it looks like that is position consolidated for McLeod as we see Aaron Dillon pull out here on Damien Westbrook for a run into NASCAR 3 and 4. Pushing a bit wide up the racetrack, but they give each other the requisite room that they need. And that is move done there for Aaron Dillon into 11th place. Gary Wellman with a huge run on Cade Donnelly, and they come together across the line into the first turn. And oh no, Baldwin and Stevens both off, and they have to make a 3-point turn to get back onto the racetrack as Baldwin pulled out.
Just go back to pit lane. They did they so slightly missed it, but unfortunately Brady's towed back to pit lane.
Racecraft Simulations replay of this, and I think Brady Baldwin is not happy with Daniel Stevens for this. They make contact coming into the tri-oval, and then Stevens has the inside line, makes contact with Baldwin, and unfortunately they just both get pushed so wide that they actually have to stop to avoid that wall. Stevens keeps going, but Baldwin's had enough.
I'm not quite sure why he decided to tow, but nevertheless Baldwin's going to be starting down the back end of the field for this next race, but we'll see what's going to happen in that regard. But nevertheless, you can see still back here, Simon Mazzone still trying to work his way through this field, still trying to somewhat learn the ropes of these trucks, the fact that he's only just jumped in it tonight and only just bought a car actually tonight, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do if he can try and catch up to this little pack in front of him that consists of Dalton Howell and Pavel, battling very, very hard at the moment. But at the front of the field, it's looking like Hobson's possibly starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Postlethwaite, and then you got that little group behind the likes of Donnelly. Dillon going onto the grass to make it 3 wide on the way into turn number 1, breaks as late as he can, takes the position off both of them. He gets 2 for 1.
Wow. There from Aaron Dillon as well. There's some contact there. Lockie Dalton and Gregory Pavel have come together with Philip Howe, and Howe has lost a bunch of positions there. Now he's got Daniel Stevens right behind him, so that was a bit of a coming together in turn 1. Aaron Dillon, though, has lost that position once more as Cade Donnelly made his way past. They got Gary Wellman right in the midst of it as well. Gary Wellman is having a great run at the moment. He is up to 6th place now, after starting from 12th. And that's one of the best performances I've seen him put on. He goes a bit wide, though, in the left-hander. That's okay. He's going to be able to protect the inside line for this right-hander. He gets a big bump from Todd Maxfield, and they're 3 wide, but it looks like Paul Wellman not able to take advantage of being on the inside for that hairpin. He's just gotten shuffled out of the way, and Aaron Dillon now through on him for that position.
Shuffled out a little bit wide, a little bit of contact as well for good measure, but he's still in this little pack, so still every chance he can get those positions back. Dillon moves to the inside of Cade Donnelly as they head down the back straight towards NASCAR 3, and he's going to get both of them in the back, and Gary Wellman's going to follow him through as well, so both of them moving to the front of this little pack here. And here comes Westbrook up the inside of both now Cade Donnelly and Maxfield, and you've even got Joel Berkeley and everybody else starting to catch up into this pack, so now it's an even multi-car fight for these final positions inside the top 10.
Yeah, and Westbrook going for it into turn 1, and that was some big contact there between Donnelly and Maxfield, and Joel Berkeley right in on it as well. Aaron Dillon has to shuffle back slightly to keep the momentum up through the turn, but Damien Westbrook taking advantage of all that battling. He's now at the front of this pack, and oh no, Wellman ran wide. Donnelly and Dillon have gone right through, taking advantage of that. Wellman off the track, and contact from behind by Joel Berkeley, and there's contact between Dillon and, oh dear, gotta be careful guys, this is gonna be big. Oh, take it easy boys. Drivers having to really go for some evasive action here. Cade Donnelly having some trouble getting back going again. This is just continuing all throughout the infield. This is a mess.
Certainly is a little bit of a mess going on just inside this end tail of the field, really, and it's really all just going off. Nobody knows really what to do or where they want to go at the end of the day, so they're just more or less ping-ponging off each other.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dwayne Preece is starting to mount an attack for this race win. There's only 8/10 between he and Glenn Postlethwaite, and Hobbo and Posy, the two Synergy teammates up ahead, they have held station for the majority of this race, and they have got the white flag now. Dwayne Preece has one lap now if he wants to get this race win. They both push very hard into the turn here, Posy and Hobbo, keeping it on the circuit, keeping it nice and tight through turn 2. Let's see what Dwayne Preece can do here. Oh no, that's a problem there for Christopher Finlay. He's found himself on his roof coming out of NASCAR 4. Let's take a look at the replay then. Thanks to Racecraft Simulations. With Daniel Stevens into the final turn, Finlay moved up the circuit there, trying to defend from the number 3, and was this rear quarter contact that just sent him into the wall, I wonder? Stevens was staying in the middle of the track there, and Finlay just, my goodness, what on earth? Stevens was involved in that too.
It was absolutely massive shunt, and that's a new sausage roll from the side of that car for Daniel. Oh no, there's a big rollover in the middle of the pack. Aaron Russell is up and over in the pack. He's done it again. He's gone over 4 times. Make it 5 times.
Goodness me, Aaron Russell lands on his wheels, but we've got the final stretch then for our race leaders. Postlethwaite has fallen back from Brenton Hobson. Dwayne Preece could get the advantage here across the line. He might have the run. In fact, both of them might have the run on Hobson, because we see another 3-wide finish here. Hobbo is going to go as far to the inside as he possibly can, protect it from his teammate, and he is going to just about take victory. No, it's Postlethwaite ahead of the line. And there is Glenn Postlethwaite with the win in race 2 by just 0.02 of a second. Dwayne Preece makes the top 3, covered by less than a tenth, as it's side by side across the line between Damien Westbrook and Todd Maxfield, and that is Westbrook just ahead there. We have more finishers coming across the line, and they just don't care about the breaking point for turn 1 anymore. The race is over, it doesn't matter. But Glenn Postlethwaite has quite a bit to celebrate.
And he does. He timed that run very well and only just managed to edge out Hobson in the end. Preece nearly had the run too, but just didn't quite get there and came up short to get 3rd. But how was the finish from everyone up the front of the field? It was just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, certainly, and I've got to give props to Ryan Jones for coming home in 4th, and Mitchell McLeod working his way up from 20th to 5th. Damien Westbrook finishing 6th after starting 15th. Maxfield also started outside the top 10, with Dylan, Favell and Mazzomo rounding out the top 10.
Have Joel Berkeley coming home in 11th ahead of Rocky Dalton, and then you're going to have Gary Wellman in 13th, Philip Howell 14th, and Cade Donnelly running out the top 15. Lindsay Hobson 16th, 17th Aaron Russell, Ashley Lear in 18th. Christopher Finlay unfortunately coming home in 19th after that massive shunt on the way through NASCAR 4. One of the corners you probably wouldn't expect to crash to happen, but nevertheless it did. And then Daniel Stevens rounding out the top 20, and then you're going to have everybody else rounding out the field. Brady Bowen, Justin Howe, and Sam Stride, unfortunately, DNFing.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Sam Stride, of course, out in the first turn. Well, it's time for the 5-minute expression session. A little bit of a warm-up before the final 11-lap race of the night. Looking forward to seeing who's going to take the final race victory of the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series. You're watching SimSpeed TV. We'll be back in just a moment.
fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up the
Oh
wall.
my God! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go. Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
You're watching the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series here on SimSpeed TV, presented by Racecraft Simulations and Scamander Coffee Mug. What a night of racing we've seen so far here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Some crazy finishes, 3 wide across the line for the win in both races so far tonight. Will we see the same at the end of 11 laps after this? Once again, I'm Reese Gardner and Cameron Dance is joining me in the commentary box. Well, Cam, how can we dissect what has gone on tonight? I mean, it's been a bit messy, I think, in the midfield and towards the back, but I reckon the fighting for the lead has been absolutely immense.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's been very, very chaotic in that mid to back end of the pack, and then you've obviously got that front breakaway that happens once the Hobson, McLeod in there, and it's just been really, really good and smart racing with everybody just working together and being sensible, and then really letting it out on the final lap to see who's going to get the run to the line. But it's just been absolutely unbelievable how crazy it's been in the mid-pack. Everybody trying to sort themselves out, gain positions, and it's just turned into an absolute cluster of events.
Yes, indeed. What you're seeing at the moment is the Expression session, 5-minute warm-up between the second and third races, seeing Aaron Russell put one there on the number 45 of Gary Wellman, and just testing out the... Whoa, hello.
That's Ryan Jones.
Okay, photo bombing. Doing rather well with that as well. As Gary Wellman and Sam Stride going super sideways through these hairpins. Of course, that's not the quickest way to go around in the race, but hey, you want a bit of hard driving here in the warm-up session. A bit more rubber on the track, didn't hurt anyone. Gives you a little bit of extra grip through the corners, or so the theory goes. Just a few seconds left then in the warm-up. The checkered flag flies, and we'll be able to go racing finally for the last race of the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series. 11 laps await, and it is going to be, once again, the Synergy Sim Racing 1-2 of Glenn Postlethwaite and Brenton Hobson on the first row, with Dwayne Preece and Ryan Jones sharing the second row. Mitchell McLeod is looking for some redemption. He lost the win in race 1, got set back to a 20th place start for race 2. Can he recover? Damian Westbrook in 6th, with Todd Maxfield, Aaron Dillon, Gregory Favell and Simon Mazzomo rounding out the top 10.
I'm going to have Joel Berkeley and Lockie Dalton on row 6, Gary Wellman and Philip Powell row 7, row 8 going to be Cade Donnelly and Lindsay Hobbs, Aaron Russell and Ashley Leo on row 9, Christopher Finlay, Daniel Stevens rounding out the top 20 on row 10, and then everybody else is going to be Brady Bowen, Justin Howe and Sam Stride.
Yeah, and they'll all be looking for a bit of redemption here in the final race. They were all taken out very early on. The timer goes to 0. The revs rise for the final time. What kind of start are we going to get here? The green flag flies and away we go. Not the best start from Postlethwaite. Hobson kind of got the run off the line, but the run to turn 1 is so short that Postlethwaite can keep the lead. Running a bit off the circuit there was Aaron Dillon. He's lost a position to Joel Berkeley in the first turn. Todd Maxfield now pressuring Mitchell McLeod as Damian Westbrook tries his best to make his way past. Westbrook looking for a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel as well as we get to the first proper braking zone, and there's already half a pile-up happening in the back with Joel Berkeley trying to work his way through. He's just sent, that's Aaron Russell that's sent Lindsay Hobbs up on his roof. Poor Lindsay, not having a great night at all.
It's certainly not been having the night that they probably wanted. Unfortunately, and Phil Powell going and doing a bit of rallycross off-roading there, and he's going to have got to slow down more than likely, so he's going to give back the time and release a lot of time and positions, unfortunately. He's going to keep losing it. In fact, there's argy-bargy going on just behind him as well. Actually, they're copying the whack from Damien Stevens. So certainly he's still been a mess back down the field, but at the front of the field, it's more single file and possibly it's actually got a little bit of breakaway going from his teammate Brenton Hobson.
Yeah, it looks like the two Synergy trucks have the gap now over the rest of the field, and Hobbo with the draft. He lifts off slightly though as he jets up to the back of his teammate, and probably either looking for a move at turn 1 or just looking to sit behind as they did in race 1. They're going to have to be careful though, especially this early on, because have a look at Dwayne Priest and Ryan Jones jetting up to the back of these guys. They're now right on the back of them coming into turn 1. Jones with the wide entry just avoids touching the grass there. Dwayne Priest still holding on to that third place as the Constitution comes into effect, and McLeod is now onto the back of these guys in 5th place. So a proper battle here for the entirety of the top 5. Hobbo running a little bit wide there in turn 3, almost allowed Dwayne Priest up the inside.
Certainly, and John Berkeley getting up the inside of Damien Westbrook on the way into turn 3 as well. Very, very good move there, but we'll see what these guys at the front of the field can do. And also going to be interested to see how well the likes of Maxfield, Berkeley and Westbrook are going to be able to try and close the gap down to McLeod and make this a very long train all the way back to about 13th or so.
Yes, indeed. A little bit of oversteer from Dwayne Priest, which just set him back a little, but that's not going to hurt him too much. The number 19 there, heading all the way up as Simon Mazzomo. Right on the back of this train, Cade Donnelly, the next car up from him. Have a look at this though, between Priest and Jones. Ryan now right on the back of Dwayne, and you see Mitchell McLeod lurking in the background there. He has got the draft. He's got quite the run, I think, coming into turn 1. Priest pushing up the circuit, sticks to the inside though as the two leaders side by side. Jones off the circuit. Can he go for the move into turn 1? 3 wide across the start finish line. No, he just slots in there, almost pushes Brendan Hobson off the racetrack, but Dwayne Priest taking advantage of all of that. Both Synergy teammates going wide, and Dwayne Priest now into the lead of the race.
Very, very good move, but here comes Postlethwaite back up the inside of it. Dwayne Priest going to give him a little bit of a hip check. Ryan Jones going to try and get up the inside of Hobson, nearly a little bit of contact, forcing it 3 wide. McLeod's got nowhere to go in this and is sitting stuck back in about 5th position at the moment, and he's just got nowhere to go really. He's trying to find a way on by Jones, who nearly runs on the back of Hobson on the way down the back straight.
At this point, I'm thinking, watch chicane. These guys are just running into the grass every single time, but it shows you just how hard they're pushing. Postlethwaite protecting the lead from Dwayne Priest, and I tell you what, this battle in between the top 5 has brought the pack back into contention. They got Joel Berkeley, the next car back from them, who we ride on board with. He has got Todd Maxfield there just behind him, and a long line of cars all trying to take advantage of the draft. But for the lead, Postlethwaite has gone all the way down to the bottom of the oval. There goes Hobson. He goes down onto the apron to get the move done on Dwayne Priest, but he slows himself up a bit too much. Priest keeps up the momentum. This could be a podium position here for Ryan Jones. Around the outside of the turn 1, I mean, it can be done. Jones switches then to the inside. He's going to try and go for the lead again. 3 wide across the line once more, and there is Jones through into the lead as Postlethwaite goes off the circuit. Priest with contact with McLeod, and Jones off the circuit again. He's lost the lead, and Brenton Hobson, the number 88, back in P1.
Priest shuffled all the way back. Jones looking up the inside of Postlethwaite again on the way into turn number 3. Not going to make it work. Here comes Berkeley though, up the inside of Dwayne Priest, nearly up the inside of Ryan Jones. He's going to get up the inside though of Glenn Postlethwaite, but not quite going to get the run out of the corner. And now Postlethwaite's going to look to the inside of Jones, who goes defensive. He's going to have to go to the outside. Berkeley's going to stay on the inside of Dwayne Priest. It's going to get shuffled out, and it's going to have Maxfield trying to get up the inside of him, but going to sit station. A little bit of a bump and hip check behind.
There goes Maxfield through on Priest, and Damien Westbrook right on the back of them as well. Fabell and Dillon side by side in the hairpin. Big oversteer from Aaron Dillon. He's just not able to get the power down like he wants to, sticking to the apron down out of that turn. But what a run there from Joel Berkeley. He is now in 5th place and looking to capitalise, because Glenn Postlethwaite has been shuffled all the way back, and looking for the lead. Mitchell McLeod with a huge run, huge draft there on Brenton Hobson. Has to go to the inside though, down in NASCAR 3 and 4. That's going to give the advantage to the pack behind, because Ryan Jones and Glenn Postlethwaite going to make it side by side across the line. Oh, take it easy, boys. They got to stay in the middle. Careful. Contact inside, contact outside. Hobbo keeps the lead. And Berkeley up the inside in turn 1 gives Postlethwaite a hip check and through then into 3rd place. But Postlethwaite out. Oh, Mitchell McLeod getting into the wall and out of turn 3. Into turn 3, sorry, goes Glenn Postlethwaite, shoving up the inside of Berkeley once more. Goodness me, this is great racing.
Dwayne Priest got a little bit of a whack from Top Nextford just behind them as well. McLeod not going to probably be too pleased with himself with ending up in that wall especially, but we'll see if he's going to have any damage at all this time or next time by. But certainly it's been an absolute chaotic lot of fighting up this front end of the field.
It certainly has. My goodness, I can barely catch my breath here. Well, the battle continues. Joel Berkeley still trying to force one up the inside there of Glenn Postlethwaite, but now up into 4th. Ryan Jones in 2nd. He could potentially go for the lead here. Brenton Hobson goes all the way down to the inside out of NASCAR 2 and 3. Sticks to the middle down the back straight, but have a look at the draft from Ryan Jones. Has to switch to the outside though. He's going to lose some of that momentum, but he can get some of it back coming onto the tri-oval. He's giving the advantage to Postlethwaite. He's going to sneak up the inside of Jones here. Oh, or is he? Careful, guys. Hobbo doesn't want to give his teammate room here. We can't give his teammate room across the line as he defends from Ryan Jones. Joel Berkeley tries it again. Another hip check for Postlethwaite. Up into 3rd, up into 2nd. Can he maintain it? Ryan Jones sees him coming, has to stay wide, and they get the throttle application down. Jones is going to have the inside then into turn 3 as we go to a Racecraft Simulations replay.
Further back in the field involving Lockie Dalton and a few others. Went to the inside and decided he's a call it a day. Not sure if that's a technical problem or not, but nevertheless, unfortunately, is it going to be over. And Berkeley's lost a whole lot of places. He ended up falling in behind the likes of Dwayne Priest, and they're all going off at the front of the field as Jones is getting in it with Glenn Postlethwaite at the moment. Slots back in behind, but it's all melee at the moment.
Yeah, Joel Berkeley unfortunately losing a few more positions after that move that we just saw from Ryan Jones down at turn 3. While we were on the replay, he lost a couple more, but he's up the inside now of Dwayne Priest, and Glenn Postlethwaite now with quite the gap to his teammate ahead of him. That's what the Synergy cars will want, as Joel Berkeley sneaking up the inside of Dwayne Priest down the back straight. He's got the draft with his cloud just up ahead of him. Could potentially go for a podium here tonight. The race is just about over half done. And they've got plenty of chances left to try and stake their claim for a podium position here. But the Synergy teammates have controlled the night so far. Number 19 and the number 45, Simon Mizono now on the back of Gary Wellman. This whole train that we're seeing in front of Simon Mizono is the battle for the lead. That's insane how close everyone is in this final race of the night. Contact I've just noticed between McLeod and Jones. Jones has been sent wide and off the circuit, and that's going to allow Dwayne Priest to get on through down this short little straight in the infield. Jones protect the inside? No, he's not going to be able to go around the outside there, but Dwayne Priest just completely ignores the corner and and keeps himself in front. Joel Berkeley still piling the pressure on. He's got everyone there behind him. Contact between Westbrook and Favell. That was almost belly up for those guys, but they've sorted themselves out as they come onto the oval once again.
Run towards the start-finish line and all try to get the draft off each other in a massive train of cars, and everybody's just been constantly switching back and forth. Gregory Favell has his hands full. Cade Donnelly at the moment. Even Aaron Dillon currently coming under attack from Todd Maxfield just inside the top 10 too. So it's all going on at the moment, and you can see there Dylan on the inside and going to get that position off Todd at Maxfield in the end, just ahead of them as well. Westbrook going to come out ahead of both Val and Donnelly, but they're going to look to the inside and the outside. Donnelly's not quite going to get the move done, but just ahead of them though, it's still going on between the likes of Berkeley, Jones, Priest and McLeod.
Yeah, as Damian Westbrook has to give Donnelly a little bit of space, but these guys all battling for third on back. The two Synergy trucks controlling everything at the moment as Westbrook now forces one up the inside of Donnelly. That was a very aggressive entry there from Todd Maxfield. I think he might have missed his braking point, and makes contact with Philip Howe out of that turn, and that is Todd Maxfield around. Freddie Baldwin almost getting in on that as well. But Gregory Favell and Damian Westbrook pressuring each other there for 7th place now. If they can keep it together, if they can get a good draft going down the back straight, they will be able to catch up to this top 6 battle here. And they're all still together. Berkeley with quite the aggressive exit. He's fallen back ever so slightly. Those are the visual gaps that you can see, and I reckon the draft will work from that far back.
More than likely, may very well work from that far back. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but you can see here that certainly all going on, even slightly behind this big pack. You got Damian Westbrook at the moment trying to hunt these guys down just up the road, and then you're looking at the likes of Ryan Jones, and they're all battling very, very hard at the moment. The leaders going side by side on the way into turn 1. Postlethwaite's going to take the lead off Hobson, and it's a little bit of a biff and barge at the moment between Priest, McLeod and all of them, and still absolutely nothing in it. Berkeley's just sitting in there casually, just waiting for these guys to make a mistake, waiting for the opportunity to rise to get by.
Yep, just waiting. There's going to be 2 laps to go when they cross the line next, with McLeod still maintaining the lead position in that battle. And I think Joel Berkeley's doing the right thing here by just sitting behind and catching the draft when he can. The series has become notorious for very high-stakes racing with a lot of overtaking at just about every corner, but I think at a track like this, the best strategy is to sit behind and wait for an opportunity.
Definitely is going to be his best bet at this stage, to just sit behind and just be very patient. There's still 2 laps to go and still plenty of racing for these guys, and plenty of chances as well to get on by, so no point really trying to rush things. Going down to the apron for some reason, and he's clearly not really gaining any advantage out of that because he's just lost a massive amount of time. Now Dwayne Priest is going to have a massive run on him, and so is Ryan Jones and Joel Berkeley, so he's going to lose 3 for 1 here in the space of 2 corners.
Now, I'm not sure why that happened there for McLeod, as Jones now sees the gap opening on the inside and goes for it there on Dwayne Priest up into what is now 3rd place. My goodness, what a fight this has been for the final spot on the podium. Berkeley up the inside of Priest is going to secure 5th place. And side by side just behind them, Kay Donnelly and Damian Westbrook. This looks familiar. This is where they were a couple of laps ago. Big oversteer from Damian Westbrook, just trying to keep it on the circuit. So Donnelly protects that position just for now. But Jones, McLeod, Berkeley and Priest continue to fight as we see Justin Howe try to make his way through here on Brady Baldwin for 15th place. Baldwin off the circuit. That's going to be an easy move there for Justin Howe, with Sam Stride now the next target for him. There goes Ryan Jones off the circuit. McLeod trying to sneak one up the inside into that right-hander. Not quite happening. Joel Berkeley still sitting quietly behind, waiting for his next opportunity. Another aggressive exit from all of those drivers coming out of this hairpin. That's going to be white flag pretty soon for our Synergy Sim Racing leaders. Postlethwaite and Hobson haven't bothered each other all that much, but I can see Hobson with the draft now on his teammate. He's going to get up the inside into the first turn. Now, how are they going to coordinate the finish between themselves?
Really going to be a big question, because you have to remember they've both won 1 race each so far, so it's I guess going to be no team orders. Whoever wins at the end of the day. We'll have to wait and see, but Ryan's gained a 2nd on the 2 ahead of them, and a little bit of contact between the 2 leaders as well. So Ryan Jones into 3rd place at the moment, and has actually fallen back to 6 now. So a little bit of time lost there in position as well, but they're already right on the back of these leaders now. So this lead pack's about to get very, very spicy. So McLeod fires it up the inside.
No.
Jones contact between the two of them, and that's going to run them both wide. Berkeley's going to take advantage of both of them, but here comes McLeod back on Berkeley as they head down towards the back end of the infield. Jones is going to get the run as well on McLeod. He's going to look up the inside as he's going to fire it in very deep and force them to both end up on the grass, cut it as deep as they can, and then still side by side on the grass. To listen to is Jones is still making contact, and they're still going at it on the infield. Another shoulder check, and here comes Dwayne Priest up the inside. McLeod with a bucket full of wheel spin. McLeod's going to lose 2 out of that.
Yeah, well, Ryan Jones losing just as many, and I think the red mist has descended there. I don't think Ryan's very happy with Mitchell McLeod after that particular move coming into the infield. But for the lead as they come onto the back stretch for the final time, Glenn Postlethwaite and Brenton Hobson, they bump draft as they're down off the circuit, down on the apron. Joel Berkeley advancing forward. He is coming, is Joel Berkeley. Could we see an incredible finish here to end off the night? Postlethwaite gets the run out of NASCAR 4, and he might be ahead of his teammate at the line. It looks like he is, and that is it. Glenn Postlethwaite taking victory in the final race of the night. Hobbo second.
Jones.
And, oh, whoa. Oh no, Ryan, what has happened to him? He's not going to make it across the line. The line is right there, Ryan. Come on, the line is right there. Okay, right, he's there.
It's called a redress.
Okay, a redress. No worries. Ryan, of course, sitting in the box with us to see what happens between himself and Dwayne Priest and Mitchell McLeod. McLeod's still pushing Jones incredibly hard here. Jones went down to the apron and, oh yeah, there we go, contact, and that was Dwayne Priest turned around. Ryan Jones there with not the greatest end to his night, in contention for victory, and Dwayne Priest, well, he he elected to reverse it across the line. Away he goes, but that's a lot of positions lost for all of those drivers. A big shame, but a big celebration for Synergy Sim Racing as the 95 of Glenn Postlethwaite takes the win from Brenton Hobson. This is the view on board from Joel Berkeley of the finish, and you'll see how close he got here to taking victory in this draft situation.
Very much lucked out in the draft situation. Did Postlethwaite Berkeley nearly made it in the end, but it was just a little bit too far back. He actually could have just about made it if they made a little bit of contact with those two ahead of him, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be in the end. You can see Hobson right on the bottom trying to use the apron to shorten that run up even more, but unfortunately the momentum was on Postlethwaite sliding the hand with this line at absolutely nothing between them, only 51 hundredths in the end.
Yeah, an incredibly close gap between our two leaders, but looks like Postlethwaite is going to come away with the round win there, with the win and Hobbo in second, with Berkeley, McLeod and Donnelly your top 5. Berkeley worked his way up from 11th, and Donnelly worked his way up from 15th. Had a great run from Cade there. Damian Westbrook finishes where he started in 6th, with Gregory Favell, Simon Mazzomo, Gary Wellman and Philip Howe rounding out the top 10.
And you're going to have Justin Howard coming home in 11th, 12th to Sam Strider, Aaron Dillon in 13th. Brady Baldwin from 21st on the grid. It comes home in 14th, 15th, to Daniel Stevens. Aaron Russell comes home in 16th, 17th to Dwayne Priest, and Ryan Jones coming home in 18th after that redress at the line. Ashley Lear comes home in 19th. Because of Finlay rounds out the top 20 there. Maxfield, Hobbs and Dalton rounding out the field.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of the 10th and 11th place finish there between Justin Howe and Sam Stride for 11th and 12th, rather. Because if you were paying attention during the results screen, they actually had the same gap exactly, down to the 1,000th of a second. So I'm very interested to see what that finish looked like between the two of them. It's very close racing between Howe and Stride. Let's see what happened down at the line. Howe on the outside and Stride on the inside. And this is what it was like at the line between them. Literally no gap at all. That is crazy. Have a look at that. Stride just ahead. it seemed, at the line, but it's classified Justin Howe ahead of him.
It's absolutely nothing in it, but you could literally do it frame by frame, and you could not tell the difference looking at it. There's just nothing in it. They pass the stripe, the exact same part at the exact same time. It's unbelievable.
It is. Well, what a way to end off the Pro Truck Showdown Summer Series. It's been a great 4-week bash here on SimSpeed TV, but we're going to be going back to regular Pro Truck Showdown madness in the future. Again, it is running on Tuesday nights on SimSpeed TV, so make sure to tune in. Or if you want to race, check out Pro Truck Showdown on Facebook, and you can get all of the details there. Thanks once again to our series supporters, Racecraft Simulations and Scamander Coffee Mug. Big thanks to all the drivers for putting on one hell of a show here tonight. And we will see you very shortly here for SimSpeed TV. I'm Reese Gardner. It was Cam Dance alongside me and Jay Kennedy making everything happen behind the scenes. It's bye for now, but certainly not forever.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got everything else. Both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled.
Second very close. These guys I want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go! Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?